Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be taking a look at this mini SQ13 camera. Now right off the bat the design is very simple. On the top you have your power, your record, and your photo buttons. The front has the lens and the infrared lights. This side has the micro SD card slot and the reset key. This side has the micro USB charging, the microphone, and the notification LED. The bottom is plain, and the back of the camera is magnetic.
It's around a cubic inch, so that's around 2.5 cubic centimeters.
This camera officially supports SD cards up to 32 gigabytes, but I think any SD card that is formatted to FAT32 should work. Using this camera is pretty simple. To turn on the camera, you hold the power button, and you wait for the blue light to turn on. Alright, now to take a video, you press the video button. It's literally that simple. Unfortunately, this camera is a little buggy. You can see how I've pressed the button and it doesn't always respond properly, but now it is actually recording video. To turn on the infrared lights, you tap the power button once. Now the infrared lights are on, you can see the camera. To turn them back off, you press the power button again. To take a photo, you press the photo button. Pretty simple. It's just a little buggy, and that's pretty annoying. You can see how it's completely frozen. It responds perfectly to photos, but videos are a little buggy. Stopping the video is also a little bit of a pain. It might take a couple clicks. In my experience, I found that spamming the record button is the quickest way to get it to start recording. You just keep pressing it until it actually responds. There we go. Same thing for stopping the recording. Oh. But either way, this sucks that it can't record properly. Unfortunately, just like the A9, the magnet isn't very strong. Now here's the SQ13 as a test, and it immediately wants to fall off. There is no grip at all. Here's a Polaroid cube, for example, and that is pretty solid. On a textured surface, it seems to be fine, but it's still... Oh, there it goes.
There are two things on the root of the SD card. The first is the DCIM folder, and this is where all your videos and photos will be stored. The other thing is the time.txt file, and here you can set the year, month, day, and the time in 24-hour format. And there is no option to turn on or off the timestamp. So that's all the boring overview stuff out of the way, and here is the most important part of any camera, the actual images. On first impression, this camera looks pretty decent, but there are a ton of problems here, and I will show you every single one of them. The first issue is what I call purple syndrome, and it occurs when you record in broad daylight. The lens is sensitive to infrared light, and it messes with the color accuracy, often giving everything a purple or pink hue. To prove my point, here's an indoor recording of multicolored energy drinks, and you can see the video looks fine here. Dynamic range on this camera is not very good. You can see here that the sunset has been turned into a giant blown out semicircle. In this shot, everything is just blown out. There is no detail between where the sky meets the ocean. I'm not exactly sure what this problem is called, but I think it's called posterization. This camera doesn't have very good color depth, so if you look closely, you can see that the sky has a ton of banding, and so does the ground. There's a gradient of color in both situations. Since this camera doesn't have a very large sensor, it does have a ton of digital noise when shooting in low light conditions. As I move the camera around, you can notice the fisheye effect, and there's no easy way to correct this from the camera's end. You can also see how the camera randomly adjusts the color profile, which makes it look really inconsistent. Since turning on night vision is so easy, I accidentally triggered it multiple times while recording. This usually wouldn't be a problem if it didn't turn your video to black and white. I decided to compare this SQ13 to my old SQ12 for fun, and I ended up pretty disappointed. Colors and shadows are just better on the SQ12, especially in this broad daylight comparison. Using a 2x zoom in shows that the detail is pretty much the same, even though this camera is recording in 1080p and my SQ12 was recording in 720p. However, battery life on this camera is better than any SQ camera I've ever used. While before I'd be able to get 40 to 45 minutes, this camera got me an hour and 40 minutes, and one time I was even able to get 2 hours. I've been rambling on about the video quality for a little too long now, so here's the other features. I usually don't talk about photos because they're pretty much just screenshots from the video, and it's pretty much the same here. Here I have a sign in front of me. Right now this is around 2 feet away. This is around 5 feet, and now the full sign should be in view. And now I'm around 10 feet away. How visible is the sign? I never found the IR lights useful on most of these cameras, and it's pretty much the same here. So this is raw audio from the camera. It's around 6 inches away from me. How do I sound? There's a light breeze passing by. How bad is the wind sound? Overall, I'm pretty mixed on this camera, but if I had to choose a side, I'd say it's worth skipping. There are significant upgrades here, like having micro USB over this weird proprietary cable, and the battery life, which is a significant improvement over these other cameras. But the video quality just isn't there. It's subpar at worst, and it's just decent at best. I like the simplified user interface, but if the video quality isn't even that good, then it kinda sucks at being a good camera. As usual, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you have a great day.